Democratic Congresswoman Loretta Sanchez, senior-most female member of both the House Armed Services Committee and the Homeland Security Committee. Ma'am, thank you so much for being here with us. Why now? Is this the right time to do this? Is it overdue, would you say? Is there something about it happening right now that's good timing?
Well, TJ, I've been fighting for about the last 5 or 6 years with a bill in the House to recognize what we already know. Our women have been fighting in Afghanistan. There is no front line. Everywhere is the front line. They've been in combat. They've been killed. They're POWs. They've been wounded. And yet they have never received the recognition, nor the pay, nor the promotions due to the fact that they would be in combat. So it's long overdue, in my opinion.
Does this, I guess the timing now, we have 2 wars winding down, I mean, essentially Iraq, and then you still have Afghanistan winding down, I should say. Is there something about that will help the American people, I guess, stomach our American young women, to hear about them being on the front lines and dying, and also the nature of war changing? Like you said, there's not really a front line anymore. So how does that help as well in terms of Americans being so supportive, in your opinion?
Well, I think what's important and what Americans have seen is that everybody probably knows now a woman that has served in Iraq or Afghanistan, and they've come back and they've told their stories, and they have said, you know, we were right there. We were doing everything that everybody else was doing. So, you know, as I tell people, women should have an equal opportunity to have some of those slots that we consider combat-oriented, and they've been held back. They've been held back by a ban on women being able to be there, even though in reality they have been there. So I don't know that it's about stomaching. I think Americans understand that about 20% of the people who went to Iraq and Afghanistan were women. They certainly saw them on television. For example, they saw Jessica Lynch be the first POW, woman POW in Iraq. So I think they've gotten used to understanding that women really are playing important roles in the military, and that the military needs them, that we as a country need women because they have good skills. You know, those who compete for combat roles will be physically up to the medal on that. So I think America's ready for it.
Let me let you listen to Major M.J. Hagar. She was on with Alex a little earlier this morning, was talking about combat. She was actually wounded in combat in Afghanistan. She's also one of the plaintiffs in the ACLU's lawsuit against the Pentagon. I want to let you listen to her, and we'll talk about it on the other side.
Everybody wanted to make the debate about whether or not women should be in combat, when the actual issue was that women are in combat. They're serving in combat. They're engaging the enemy. They're acting with valor. They're serving, and they're just not being recognized. And I don't mean recognized with awards. I mean recognized with the correct job title that will get them promoted.
And I think that's kind of key of what you were hitting on there. But we talk about it, and we had the big announcement next week. But how soon before we see things actually change? I guess what's the timetable for putting things in place to where, all right, they do start getting that recognition they so deserve?
Mm-hmm. Well, certainly the Joint Chiefs, and it was a unanimous decision, along with the Secretary of Defense, Leon Panetta, laid out for the services that every role should try to be open. And if the services decide that there are particular roles, particular jobs, that they just, you know, for whatever reason, that women wouldn't meet the qualifications, they can ask for an exemption. But the reality is that everything is on the table now. And they also said this will take a while to do, and we're going to phase it in. Some places will be easier. In some particular roles, we've seen women over and over, and the commanders have seen them there, and they'll say, hey, you know, this one's ready to go now. And in others, we need to take a look at what it takes to do those jobs. And maybe for a while, especially these last 10 years, we've been so busy fighting wars that we haven't taken a look and said, you know, what are the real qualifications for that job? And so I think that services will be taking a look at, are they the right qualifications right now? Do we need to change those qualifications? What's really required to do that job? And I would add this, even though we may change the job description. The reality is that women will have to meet the same standard as men, and that's very important. We are not asking people to lower the standard. It's still important to have the right person in the right job. Not every woman makes a good soldier, but you know what? Not every man makes a good soldier either. And so we'll set the standards, and over 3 years, by January of 2016, this should have already been phased in and done and implemented.
Well, Congresswoman Sanchez, I know this is a fight, something you have been talking about and fighting for quite some time, so I know it's a